Alright, it's time to go through all the gimmicks and bosses and the designs of the stages. Why Sonic 2 is just my favorite game to play. Oh my god. Emerald Hill Zone, one of my first favorite Sonic stage in any Sonic game. The gimmick is, it teaches you to always choose the top route mentality for some reason, because they have these things called corkscrews. You go through them as long as you have enough speed, and it's kind of a level skipper, but it's good eye candy, and I love it. Okay, the boss for Emerald Hill is Dr. Robotnik, of course, and his little theme song. And what you do here is you jump on his head, and that teaches you have to jump on his head, because he's just driving a giant lawnmower drill thing, and it just makes sense, right? You just jump on it, right? So the last phase of that boss, he froze the drill over, and it was such a surprise for me when I was 5 years old. I was like, holy fucking shit. And it's such an amazing thing. Chemical Plant Zone. This is actually the first stage to ever add in the DAS panel. And it's the only stage in this game that has it. So it's its own little stage gimmick. That's why probably everyone really loved this stage. And the other gimmick is you go down this pipe, and it's like an RNG type of thing where you go to a different route, the first or second route of the pipe, and it leads you to different routes, and it's a little bit of a labyrinth in the first act, and then the second act it's kind of straightforward. In the second act, you kind of do a lap around the whole stage. It's pretty neat. And then you go to the bottom part of the stage. So it's kind of teaching you that the high route is good, but at the same time, exploration is really awesome too. So try out everything. Okay, this is one of my favorite arenas in the game for a boss battle, because it feels like Eggman planned this whole little thing with the death pits and him like lingering over you to hit you with the freaking chemicals. It's a nice little boss, but if you do this little thing in the very beginning, it destroys the whole entire boss design of this boss. It's kind of sad, but it's a really nice boss design. Aquatic Ruin is really neat with these long loops, and I think I can call them gimmicks because you can like change your routes anytime on those loops. They're like on 3 different layers. It's pretty amazing. And you got your top route, of course. You can always go there, but the bottom route is full of water and despair and all that. And it's one of the only water stages in this game, because, Chemical Plant Zone with that water. I wouldn't call that one a gimmick. I call that one a panic attack type of bullshit. But, well, the boss here is pretty easy. You got the totem poles you have to climb up with the arrows, but you can easily just stick to the right, and then climb up the totem poles. And this is a good way to like train your momentum when you're hitting stuff with like pretty much hitting Eggman. All you gotta do is just jump on the totem poles, hit Eggman, fling backwards, hit him again, fling backwards, and then switch spots when he's over there and or such. It's pretty neat. It's a neat boss. Okay, Casino-opolis. I pretty much said this before, but it's a casino. You can take your break, take your time. The whole gimmick is just a giant slot machine, like you'll see like throughout the whole stages, and you can get extra lives, extra rings, and the boss, it teaches you how to also do momentum. You're put in like a little. Now, I wouldn't say a giant pinball thing. It's more like a little tiny small one, and he just drops these red orbs. But you can you can beat this boss easily by bouncing back and then just going with the flow, avoiding his attack and bouncing back on him. It's a neat little boss too. Hilltop Zone. It has these weird ski lift thingies that you stand on. Sometimes they're over bottomless pits, sometimes they're over lava, but if you stand on them too long, they like drop and stuff. They have these seesaw enemy things, but you've seen them in the old Sonic games. They just put them here for a little bit of, altitude reaching to feel like you're, climbing a mountain. And then the third gimmick is hot lava, because you're in a volcano. And in Act 2, the volcano erupts kind of, and then you have to make your little epic escape. It's a nice little stage that teaches you about platforming and climbing up to reach a little, a current route that you have to go and escape in, because you're in a freaking volcano, of course. So the boss is literally Eggman in this weird floating submarine thing, and he shoots fireballs at you, but you can easily destroy this boss by just jumping, like staying on him. But he goes in lava also, but you can still, maintain your rings and such. It's kind of a pushover compared to, the last two bosses or last three bosses. Mystic Cave Zone's whole gimmick, whole thing for it's just corroding. The bridges are falling, there's traps, there's pit traps, it's not like the stage is incomplete, but it feels like you've been to an incomplete mine shaft that people abandoned a long time ago and stuff. But there's switches you have to activate, there's boxes and weird things. It's nice. It tells you to slow down because there's a lot of, only 2 death pits, but you just gotta watch out. And the boss here is pretty neat. If you let him escape and hit the roof, he drops stalactites on your head, and that's all. But it's a pretty neat design. His little drills and all that. He's trying. Robotnik's, he's trying. He's good. He's alright. Whew, Oil Ocean Zone. The whole gimmick is the water is oil, so you can either sink or die in it if you don't keep on jumping. It's like quicksand, kind of. And they implement that later in Sonic 3. That's what I kind of find neat. The other gimmick are these green platforms that boost you up to these air pipes. And pretty much one of the ways you can get through the level. And the third gimmick is just slides. You've seen it in Lava Zone. It's just slides, but it's oil now. It's kind of a weird thing to put in, but it makes sense. It's an oil factory. To defeat this boss, you pretty much have to just jump on him, dodge his little attacks that he has. He shoots lasers, sends this weird snake-like creature thing. It's still creepy to this day. Shoots a laser at you and stuff. You can just dodge it. You have 2 platforms, and just jump on him, destroy him in the submarine. Eggman might suffocate in that oil, but he deserves it. Metropolis Zone, the gimmick is just this stage tries to kill you. You got spirits on boxes. All the enemies have front hit boxes, so you can't roll into them either because they'll just punch you or anything. All the enemies in Metropolis Zone, all 3 of those, you can't just roll or anything. You have to attack from behind. But how are you gonna attack from behind when you don't even know where they're gonna appear at? It's a weird thing. And they have this little pipe thing also. That's their gimmick, I guess. But Chemical Plant does it a little better. But it looks neat. It's pretty neat. And they have switches, but every level has switches. They have these pipe spring things in Act 2 that you barely ever see again. And they have conveyor belts. They just mixed all the machinery gimmick things from previous stages into this stage. It's special in its own way for being 3 acts, but it's not that right. Especially the boss. The boss is just Eggman. Eggman's just he's in a gotcha machine. He has these little capsule baby balls, and you hit him, and one of them pops out. And once you pop all of them, he just tries to shoot a laser at you, a slow ass lasers, and it's a weird boss design. It's kind of neat though. I love the designs in this game, but it's a weird concept to put at one of the endings of the game, one of the last stages of the game. It's so weird. Sky Chase Zone. This is the first time in history where you're actually standing on Tails' plane, and this is the whole gimmick of this entire stage. Just balancing on the plane, platforming, getting your rings, making so you don't spin dash off of the plane and such like that. And it's the only side-scrolling stage in the game, pretty much. So it's a pretty neat, like, relaxing stage. And there's no boss for this stage. It's just you chasing down Eggman in his wing fortress. It's pretty neat. Wing Fortress. When I was 4 years old or 5, I didn't know I had to jump off of this. Usually games nowadays they would have like a stupid ass cutscene of you jumping off the plane or a button prompt. But I thought this was neat. This was really interactive because I had no clue I had to jump off of this damaged plane and abandon Tails forever and jump on the Wing Fortress. But this stage, I feel as if this stage was in its beta because some of these gimmicks are kind of death threatening where you have to hang over a death pit and platform over a death pit, and just there's so much death pits here. I mean, I get it, you're on a giant plane, but have a little bit of indicators, I guess. I mean, they do that later in the Sonic series, but here was just, woo! Here was just a wild ride. Most of their gimmicks consist of these giant conveyor belt things that you stand on to go up, or a neat one. One of my favorite ones in the Sonic history is being blown out of a door or in a rapid current, and you hold on to these things and you can like break them by command, or they just break by themselves to go through a different route. I love those set pieces in the Sonic games. They're great. The boss here is kind of deadly when you have no rings, but if you have a ring, you can like beat this shit down if you're good at platforming. Shoots a giant laser, it gives you perfect time to dodge. But if you have no rings, this could be like the scariest ass boss ever, because it's literally 3 giant hitboxes floating above you and under you sometimes, and a giant laser timing so well and so nicely planned. And with 0 rings, it's kind of scary. You're just jumping through like hoops and stuff. It's a nice boss. It's pretty awesome for like one of the last bosses. And then that's when the difficulty spike just whoosh. Okay, Death Egg Zone. Some people would say you would have no gimmick here, but there's been a hidden gimmick you've been doing all this time, all along, ever since you got here. If you've been playing the game really good and you got 50 rings in each level, passing the goal ring, you get a continue. You can use those continues to cry here, because this difficulty spike for a 4 or 5-year-old was not that healthy for me. I would binge Sonic 2 just to get here, just to die again. Oh, those days were crazy. But hey, it made me love the game even more for some reason. I like torture. But, it's just 2 bosses. And, man, Metal Sonic or Silver Sonic, he's a really, I don't even want to talk about his freaking boss pattern. It's just it's good, but it's not good when you have 0 rings, because you're scared. You're scared at the first time. It's not like RNG random either. It has a pattern. It's really nice. But you have to hit the front of him, or just get a little bit in the middle, because his back is just a hitbox. You can't hit that part. After you defeat Silver Sonic, Robotnik just hauls ass. He's all like, "Let me get my Death Egg robot." Gets in his Death Egg robot, and man, oh man, you destroy this thing so easily in Sonic Mania. But whew, this is when you had 0 rings and there's hitboxes all over this thing's place. Damn, you can't get a break. But what you have to do is either hit him on the butt or hit him on the crotch, and you got it. But he shoots out bombs, or either shoots out his arms and all that stuff. I'm just rewinding and stuff because I am so tired and sick of this boss. Like, I could just do this so perfectly, but now it's like, ooh, I don't want to even keep on repeating this junk. But that's defect for you. And then if you beat it, that's the gimmick. You did it. You beat the stage with no rings. You truly mastered patterns and a boss design that was the most nightmarish thing for me ever. Congrats. This game's ending is two different things. If you don't get, oh yeah, I didn't say about the Chaos Emerald. There's a special stage thing. When you get 50 rings and hit a checkpoint, you go to the special stage. The special stage is so neat. It's a giant slide, and you go and get rings, and get enough rings, you get a Chaos Emerald. If you get all 7 Chaos Emeralds, you can become Supersonic. If you get all Chaos Emeralds with Tails, you can become Tails. Yeah, Tails is just great in this game. I love it. But that's great. It gives you a special ending where you're falling and you're Supersonic, and if you don't have the Chaos Emerald, you're just regular Sonic. It's not that big deal. It's pretty neat though. It's a little tiny detail that I like. The special stage, the gimmick is, collect rings, avoid bombs. You're on a slide. You have to how to take advantage of these stages is just muscle memory. You just gotta know muscle memory. I'm not gonna say it's a good or bad stage design thing for the special stage, but you have multiple chances of getting in there and everything, but everything depends on muscle memory in these special stages. And since I had these special stages in my mind for 20 years, they're really easy for me, so of course I'm gonna be completely biased with the special stages, but they're really they're so pretty. They're nice. But the first time you ever did like special stage 6, go it's fucked up. It's just bad. I apologize for not making a video in a long time. This is just not off the script thing about my opinions of Sonic 2. And it's my childhood. It's just in a little tiny cartridge. It's pretty neat. You should try out Sonic 2 too. It's see what I fuck myself. But yeah, you should try it out. It has a little split screen mode, or you can do the pseudo co-op. It's neat. Try it out with a friend. Play it, and I will rate this game a 5 out of 10 because the laugh level just sucks. I hate it. But play Sonic 2. It's really fun. Just try.